Hey, Fiber Fam. Kelley here, Train Fiber Podcast. What I want to talk about today are my Christmas knits. The things that I knitted for Christmas, and it was really just for my daughters. So, kid knits too. But first, for those of you who are coming back, thank you for coming back. It's always good to be here with you guys. And the new people, thank you for trying out something new. I'm glad you're here. So, again, my name's Kelley. I am an obsessive knitter. Maybe you can relate, but it's really just like all I do. To the point where people are like, oh, wow, you're so fast at knitting. No, I'm really not a fast knitter. I just knit all the time. So this will be mainly about knitting and fiber and yarn. I want to start a yarn store, and I will kind of get into that more at the end of the video. For those of you following along that journey, or if you want to hear updates on that, I'm kind of taking you guys along on my journey of thinking about what this business should be, what I want it to be, and the ups and downs of that, and the idea formulations and the idea changes because I change my mind a lot. And yeah, so anyway, I'll get into that later. But for what I'm wearing, I am wearing what my husband and I call my emotional support scarf, which is the Sophie scarf, which is something that I wear almost constantly. I didn't think that I would ever really want a Sophie scarf. I had seen them around the interwebs and wasn't really compelled, but I needed something easy to knit on, and I had a skein of yarn, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And it's almost never off my body. I sleep in it sometimes. That's how much I like it. It is knit in Alpaca Elegance by Green Mountain Spinnery, which is, I want to say it's a 50% fine wool, 50% alpaca blend, but it might be 40-60 or something like that with more wool content. I think it's 50-50 though. And I can't remember the color. I think maybe it's Darjeeling. But anyway, I've talked about it before, I think in the last episode. So if you want to hear more about the Sophie scarf, head there. Maybe I'll put a little link up, like a real YouTuber. Anyway, so that's what I'm wearing. Oh, I'm also wearing my sisters. Don't look at the bottoms of them because I've had to mend them. Anyway, Sisters United socks. I've had to mend these a lot, a few times. And so, but I really love the pattern. And I think what I'll do next time is knit it in a heavier weight yarn. It calls for a heavy DK. I think I use a DK, but I was probably on the lighter side, at least for the white on it. And I think what I'll do next time is do like a heavy worsted, but still try to get gauge so that it makes a much thicker fabric. And I know that for socks, that'll just wear better. It's just better to have a much, much tighter gauge with socks. I'll let you know how it goes. So that's what I'm wearing. I also talked about the Sisters United socks back in a past podcast. So I don't have very many of them podcasts. So I'm sure it'll be fairly easy to find. But yeah, so today I really want to talk about my Christmas knits while my kids are watching The Grinch in my bedroom because they know they're getting one thing, but they don't know they're getting another thing. And so I want to do this quick and before they see it. So I talked about my last episode. I was making the bead and olive. It's an Andrew Mowry pattern. My daughter had picked it out in a yarn shop back in March. I was like, you have to knit me this. And so I decided to knit matching sweaters for my 5-year-old and my 2-year-old. And they each got to pick out their own yarns. And let me just say, My girls picked out some really nice colors. They had to pick out the same contrasting color. The color work was done in the contrasting color. They had to pick the same one for that because I knew I would have enough for both sweaters. I didn't want to buy too much yarn. But other than that, I let them have free reign, and they just they're pretty colors. So to them, here we go. This is my 5-year-old. She did a Jill Draper. So this is her worsted base. It's not blocked. The ends aren't woven in. It still needs to be finished, but before I did that, it's like a couple days to Christmas, so I wanted to show you guys first. This was a wonderful pattern. Really easy to follow if you've never done color work. It's a pretty easy one. You're only working with 2 colors at a time. So a good one to practice on. For those of you who have never done color work and want something to kind of guide them, I've talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but the Nordic Knitting Primer. This is an excellent book. This is how I learned to do color work, and I found it extremely helpful. They kind of walk you through different patterns. I really did skip to one of the hardest patterns, but all the information of how to how to do that. I just couldn't wait. I didn't want to make patterns I didn't want to make. So I just skipped to what I really wanted to make. And it still worked. It worked out great. And there's a lot of nice patterns in here, but there's also pictures and guides on how to hold 2 colors, how to hold multiple colors, and it walks you through the whole thing. So anyway, recommend that. Yeah, so this is Finley's, my 5-year-old's. And so this is like a purpley deal with the pink contrasting. I'm hoping the colors are coming out decently. And you can see the little hearts on the sleeves. Very cute. And then this is what my 2-year-old picked out, Rowan. It's so cute. It's like a brownish purple. Really, it's like a brown. It's called cinnamon, I think. And just adorable. I think this pattern calls for, maybe it does call for worsted. I can't remember. The yarn that I picked is a little bit heavier than what was used in the pattern. So I think the fabric is just a little bit stiffer, but I don't think it's too stiff. They've tried it on and they like it. So I'm good with it. And once it blocks, it'll loosen up a bit. But anyway, so this is what the girls are getting for Christmas. They know they're getting this. And so sweet. It's going to be really sweet. They actually wear the knits that I make them, which is really nice. So I'm really stoked to see it on them. What they don't know that they're getting is the Olsen slippers. And this is a pattern from the Nordic Knitting Primer that I just showed you. I don't know how much I can Olsen slippers. I made them a pair last year, and Rowan, my youngest, hers still worked for her, but my oldest somehow got a hole, must have snagged on something, and she just ripped. And so she can't really wear hers anymore. So I'm surprising them with matching. So this is it. Okay, so I still have to sew this up and then do some finishing work around the edge. It'll take a second, but I wanted to show you guys. This is how it'll look at the end. But hold on. So look how sweet. So this will be Rowan's with her sweater. Isn't that so sweet? And then this will be Finley's. And they'll be matching. Isn't that so sweet? And you better bet that I am hoping that they're going to wear both of these on Christmas. But there's a good chance that their grandma got them some princess dresses. So there might be little hope for this. But we'll see. I think they'll definitely wear these. But yeah, so close up. I showed you guys the original Olsen slippers that I made. They're in red and white in my first video. But here is this deal. This is how it's finished. I don't know how good of a job I did with that crocheted top there, but they're gonna be fun with it. So that's the back, that's the front. It's adorable. If you are comfortable with increases, decreases, and color work worked flat, then go for it. If you are not comfortable with that, but you want to get comfortable and you're like, hell yeah, I could do that, go for it. That's what I did, and it worked out just fine. You just follow the pattern, lady or man. Follow the pattern, and you'll do great, I think. They're adorable. They have, in the book, there is an adult pattern. It doesn't have the same star, snowflake. I can't remember what this is called. It's like a Selbu star. I can't remember. It has a different pattern to it, but the same basic construction. This is knit up and worsted weight, and it's just so fast. If you're looking for a gift knit for your kid or for somebody's kid, this is very fast and it's impactful. It's real cute, isn't it? Isn't it? Can you? So yeah, I feel like you get a lot of reward for very little time put in. You know what I mean? I decided to make these real last minute. I think I made both of them, so all four slippers within a week and a half. And I was only knitting them at night because I didn't want the kids to see. So real quick. Anyway, so yeah, this is what it looks like. You knit the heel part of it back and forth in color work until you cast on for the top, and then you knit in the round. So that's why you need to know, knitting color work flat. And it's really, I don't know, it's really not that big a deal. You can do it. But I think you can only get the pattern, maybe not. Maybe you can get the pattern on Ravelry. I feel like you can only get the pattern through the book, but fact check me. So yeah, I don't know. Those are my Christmas knits. I feel very accomplished and proud of myself. So I am very excited to get back to just knitting myself things for a little while, because I went from knitting Ryan the Northland sweater. Ryan's my husband. He is 6'4", and so it's just like a lot of knitting. And then I went almost right into starting these sweaters and just kind of working on my things in between. And I'm just like real stoked to make myself something. So on that note, what I'm currently working on, whips, are the Saginaw pillow. I talked about this in previous ones. I'm not going to talk about it because, friends, I have not touched it. I haven't touched it. I got bored, to be quite honest. Plus, I've got another. It's a cable work pillow pattern. I got another cable work thing going, and I want the pillows. I want them, but clearly I don't want them enough to be motivated to work on it. I'll get to it. It'll be fine. But I don't think I have made any progress since the last time I talked about them or showed them. So we're just gonna ignore that. So my real whip is Andrew Mallory's Winter's Beach Cardi. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. I am in love with this. I am almost ready. Okay, so this pattern is knit flat. So you don't have to steek, though I do want to steek. I would love to steek. So those of you who have stooped, let me know. Let me know how it was. I want to cheer me on. I want to try it, share some patterns. What should I steek? When should I steek? How should I speak? Anywho, I want to speak. But this is worked flat, and I am almost ready to split for the sleeves. It's bottom up. So I just really want to bottom up is so scary. Why is it so scary? Because I just don't know exactly where it's gonna hit. Like, is it tight under my arm or is it a little loose under my arm? You know what I mean? And that could be a difference of like an inch. And I want this to be long enough. So I'm actually at, you're supposed to knit it to 13 inches, and I'm at 13 inches now. These are where the pockets are going to go. My first time doing afterthought pockets, so that should be fun. And this is the back. And just look at cables. Yum. This is also my first time doing moss stitch, and I love it. I think that might be one of my favorite stitch patterns. It's really fun. I don't know why, but it's really fun to knit. There's all moss stitch on the back here. So anyway, so you're supposed to knit to 13 inches. I am just there. I'm at 13 inches now. And I just don't want it to feel too short. Although, this is all pretty stretchy. I feel like you could block it longer. I don't know. What should I do? I was thinking about doing like an inch or an inch and a half more. So doing like 14 and a half inches. But then I also don't want it to be too long. I don't want it to be like a super slouchy cardigan. I'm all for slouchy, oversized things. That's just not what I want in this particular knit. But also, I know that I just want to get it done. And so I'll be like, yeah, I'm fine with it being 13 inches. That's totally fine. It'll work. And then when I'm finished, I'll be like, I really shouldn't have done an extra inch or whatever. So I don't know. I need to make a decision. Oh, decision fatigue, I don't know. I gotta figure it out. Anywho, love this pattern. It's been great so far. I think it's like, besides the Saginaw pillows, this is my first time doing cables. Definitely my first time doing cables in a garment. And I think it's really nice because it's not overwhelming. It's not all cables. You're knitting different sections. So you're knitting some cable, you're knitting some moss stitch, you're knitting some cable, you're knitting some moss stitch. And so it breaks it up really nicely. And you don't feel like, I don't feel like I'm in the weeds, with the cables. I feel like it goes really fast. I'm currently knitting on a size 8 needle, which I think is what it calls for in the pattern. And so it's just going by really quick. I just haven't had a lot of time to actually knit on it since I've been knitting those Christmassy things. But now it's on. So hopefully next time we talk, I'll be wearing this. That would be really nice. Fingers crossed for me. I would love that. Okay, so that's really all I have to say about this. Oh, I'm knitting this in Music. It's Green Mountain Spinneries DK, one of their DK bays. It's 100% fine wool, US wool. So that's that. I wanted to show you, I've got these little made by me things, labels. I got them from my local yarn store, Black Mountain Yarn Shop. And I'm going to put those in the girls' sweaters. It'll be the first time that I put a label in a sweater, so I'm excited about that. I'll let you know how it goes. And then I was running low on stitch markers because I lose them. That's it. So I went to Black Mountain Yarn Shop and got these little stitch markers from Cocoa Mints. Um, they're like I don't know. Well, I almost spilled all of them because I forgot I was holding it. The other day, I was holding my daughter Rowan, and I was talking to my mom, and I had her in my arm like this, and then I go, "Wait a minute, where's Rowan?" So that that'll tell you where Rowan. So anyway, there are these little. I really hope that the camera's focusing. There are these little twisty marker things. I didn't actually know that's what it was, even though they're pictured right there on the top. Until I bought it. And I love all the colors. There's a bunch of different colors. I'm not 100% sold on the actual stitch markers. They seem to come out, they seem to come off. Is there a trick to these? Like, has anybody used these and loved them? If so, what do you do? How do you put them on? Tell me, because I don't release them. So those are cute. Now I guess I'm going to just knit a little bit and talk to you about what's going on with the yarn shop. I started out wanting to dye my own yarn, and I want the baseline through it all is that I want to source American fiber because I want to support regenerative farming in America, and sheep are wonderful for regenerative farming. I mean, they can grow topsoil like nobody's business. Plus, wool, I mean, I know I'm probably preaching to a choir, but wool is such an amazing, sustainable resource. It performs better than any synthetic out there. It is just dope. And I want to support American yarn, not because I feel overly patriotic. That's certainly not the case. More so because I want to support a bioregional product. And, I think thinking about America as, you know, shopping locally is that really bioregional? But it is when you're on a global scale. I'll get off my soapbox about that. The point being is that I want to use American fiber. And in the beginning, I wanted to start my own hand dyed yarn company. And then I thought maybe I wanted to start my own American yarn focused yarn store. Now I think I want to do both. I, I I feel really vulnerable kind of taking you guys through this process because I feel very flippant. I am taking this really seriously, but that means that I'm thinking about it a lot and changing my, just like before I jump into something, I really just want to think it out fully. And a few things that I've come up against is that when I'm sourcing these yarns from mills, a lot of times they're not always selling their yarn that's dyed. They're selling undyed yarns, or the colors that the have been chosen are not necessarily what I would want to source. And keep coming up against like, man, I just want this yarn in this color. And so I think I should just make it. I am overwhelmed. I have been overwhelmed by the natural dyeing process. And so what I've decided to do instead is choose a low impact acid dye. I've chosen a dye that is GOTS certified. So that's Global Organic Textile Standard. It is basically the highest, safest standard there is. And so anyway, the dye is GOTS certified, even though it is not actually organic. It's just the way that dyes work. That's like a really safe way to create an acid dye. And so that is what I'm going to use. And I think I'm back to wanting to experiment with the yarn because I can start with a smaller collection of yarns, ones that I really believe in and I'm really proud to put out in the world. And I don't have to source like $10,000 of yarn to start a yarn shop. So, but I would love to grow into sourcing, other mills and indie dyers and, grow into carrying other people's yarns that I really believe in as well. And, yeah, sourcing yarn to dye from different mills and having like one-offs. I don't know. I'm really excited about it. So that's where I'm at. And I would love to show you, I will be dyeing in the next week some yarn that I have, and I will come back and show you what that looks like. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, I think that's all I have for today. So happy holidays. Maybe I'll get this out before Christmas. Maybe I won't. Who really knows? It's not me. I don't know. So yeah, whether it's happy holidays or happy new year or both, I hope you guys have a wonderful season. I hope you're with people that you love, and I hope you're making something you love. Take that knitting or crocheting or whatever with you, friends. And if you don't knit, you can do it. If you're intrigued, but you think you're overwhelmed by it, just pick up some needles, pick up some yarn. You can do it. And let me tell you, it's going to feel good. Once you learn and you're able to actually make something, you're going to feel real proud of yourself, as you should. Okay, I hope you guys have a great season, and I will see you next year. 2024. Woo!